Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to our 60-minute yoga practice today. We are going to use a optional prop of a knee pad. So, oops, over there. If you want to have something under your knees when we go on to our hands and knees, we're going to do a kneeling salutation today. So you could use a gardening pad, or you could use a hand towel, or even double over your yoga mat. If you're on a carpeted floor, maybe you don't need anything at all. So listen to your body and decide if you need an extra cushion under your knees. We are also going to go into half hero pose today, which is a seated pose that stretches one quadricep at a time, the top of the thigh. So if you want, you can sit on a block or a cushion. I'll show that option to sit upon a block or a cushion, because it does put the knee in a lot of flexion. So if you need to raise your hips up a little bit on this seated pose, you can have a pillow or a yoga block. We're going to get started with our hand gesture today. So bringing our hands into interlaced fingers, and then pointing your index fingers up, and then pointing that all down and away. I'll back up a little bit. Relax your shoulders. And you've created a slide in front of your body. So everything negative that comes towards you is just going to slide right off your body, down and away. And only the positive remains. This hand gesture is called Kesapana, and it means letting go. Let go of anything negative. And now release your hands, give it a shake, and we'll do our spinal warm-up. I'm backing up so you can see me head to toe. Make the number 11 with your feet, tall spine, shoulder blades into your back pockets. Engage the abdominal muscles. Align everything over your heels, knees, hips, shoulders, ears, everything tall. And we're going to go into a sequence here where we include elongation, cat, cow, and mountain. So inhale, elongate, straight up, ribcage lifting straight up. Exhale, draw the navel in, bend the knees, cat stretch. Inhale, bring your hands behind you, lift the heart, extension, and then return to mountain. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, straight up, elongate. Exhale, standing cat. Inhale, standing cow. Pinch the shoulder blades together. Exhale, mountain. One more time. Inhale, straight up, reach as high as you can. Exhale, forward flexion. Inhale, spinal extension. Exhale, mountain. Give everything a little shake. We're going to go into a little rotation here. Place one hand on top of the other, doesn't matter which one, and relax your shoulders down. Soft knees, although they're straight, just slight softness to them. And now start to twist your rib cage from one side to the other. Go at your own pace here. Just see how that feels in the side body every time you change directions. Feel that tightening up of those abdominal muscles. Do one more to each side. Return to center and release. We are going to include in today's practice a layer cake. It's a huge one. It has 8 layers, and it's all about the warriors. So I call it my warrior layer cake. We're going to start with our right leg moving. So move slightly towards the left so you have room to go into that warrior 2 pose. We're starting in mountain, and our first layer on our layer cake is just a simple tap out. So take that right big toe, tap it out, and arms go to a T. A little balance, and then return to mountain. Second time, tap it out, and return. Third time, tap out, and return. Now we're going to step it wider into that warrior 2, adding that warrior 2 after our tap out. So tap out, and now step wider, set your warrior 2, shoulders over your hips, and throw that left shoulder back. Breathe, soften both knees, and return, pushing it back into mountain. Second time, tap out, step out, throw the left shoulder back in a line, soft the knees, and return. One more time. Tap out, step wide, left shoulder back and align, soft knees, and return. Adding our third layer, we're adding on a reverse warrior two. Tap out, step wide, align, and now take that left hand down and the right hand up, reverse, and now soften the knees and zip it up back to mountain. Imagine you're zipping up your legs to come back into mountain using the strength of your lower body. Second time, tap out, warrior two, step wide, align, left shoulder back, reverse warrior two, soft knees, zip it up back to mountain. One more time, tap out, step wide, left shoulder back, reverse, and soft knees, return. Shake it out, adding on from reverse warrior, we're going to swing both arms over to the right and come into warrior one. Tap out, step wide, warrior two, left shoulder back. And now bring the right hand up, reverse warrior. And now windmill the arms up and over that right knee, warrior one, soft knees, zip it back, mountain. Second time, tap out, step wide, align, reverse, windmill the arms up and over the right knee, and soft knees brings you back. One more time, tap out, step wide, align, reverse, windmill the arms, warrior one, soft knees brings you back. Adding on another warrior, we're going to add on humble warrior 3 times. So going into a flat back from our warrior one position, we'll be leaning over that right knee 3 times. Tap out, step wide, warrior two, reverse, windmill the arms, and now make sure that right knee doesn't fall in. Keep it pointing off to the right, and we flat back 3 times. Lower and lift, lower and lift. Exhale and inhale. Soft knees, zip it back to mountain. Twice more like that. Tap out, warrior two, reverse, windmill to warrior one, and flat back. 3, 2, 1, and zip it back to mountain. One more time, and then we'll add on again. Tap it out, warrior two, reverse, pinwheel the arms, warrior one, flat back 3 times. Exhale, inhale, lower, and lift. One more time, humble warrior, and soft knees, zip it back into mountain. All right, after that humble warrior, we're going to bring the feet back together and come into our chair squat. Remember, your chair squat has a feeling as if you had a tail like a dog, and you're tucking your tail between your legs. So you want to really do that tucking motion so you protect your low back. Starting in mountain, tap out, warrior two, align, reverse, pinwheel over to warrior one, flat back, 3, 2, 1, soft knees, sink it down, tuck your tail, chair squat, rise up, mountain. Second time, tap out, warrior two, reverse, pinwheel the arms, warrior one, and flat back. 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, keep your hips low, tuck your tail, chair squat, and rise to mountain. One more time, and we'll add on again. Tap out, warrior two, align, reverse, pinwheel over, warrior one, and flat back 3 times. 2, 1, soft knees, sinks into chair squat, tuck your tail, rise up to mountain, and release. Adding on. Now we're going to add on our last two sequences, our last two layers of the cake, and they're the hardest ones. Both of them are balanced poses. The next one is one-legged mountain. So option, your one-legged mountain could be big toe touching the floor. You'll be lifting up out of your chair squat and you just tap the right foot forward, or you lift that knee up. Two options there, you pick. So set your regular mountain, tap out, warrior two, reverse, pinwheel the arms, warrior one, and now flat back. 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, keep the hips low, tuck your tail, chair squat, rise up, one-legged mountain, or you're tapping the toe and you release. We're not holding it. Second time. Tap out, warrior two, reverse, pinwheel the arms, warrior one, flat back, 3 times. And 2, core strength here, and 1, soft knees, sink it into chair squat, tuck your tail, rise up, one-legged mountain, and release. Last time, and then we add on that last layer. Tap out, warrior two, reverse, pinwheel, warrior one, flat back. 3, 2, engage those navel muscles, those core muscles, and switch it back into chair squat, tucking your tail, rise up to one-leg mountain, and release. Prance it out. Last layer on your cake, it's another balance move, so I'll show you 2 options. So if you're keeping your big toe on the earth for your balance poses, you'll be in that one-leg mountain with the toe forward, and you're just going to take it behind you and add your airplane wings. If you want to add the balance component, you'll be in the one-legged mountain with the knee lifted, and you'll extend that leg behind you with airplane wings. So 2 options there. I'm going to walk forward, so I don't kick the wall, and we'll do it 3 times. Here we go. Tap out, warrior two, reverse, pinwheel the arms, warrior one, 3 times. We flatten the back and lift, using core muscles, squeezing the navel into the spine. 1 more time. Soft knees, sink it into chair squat, tuck your tail, rise up, one-leg mountain. I'm going to show the big toe version here. And then warrior 3, airplane wings, and mountain. So that was with the kickstand. Next 2 times I'm going to show it with a floating foot, but you can keep your kickstand, your big toe touching. Tap out, warrior 2, reverse, pinwheel the arms, flat back 3 times. Reach and lift, engage those muscles, and lift, protect the low back. Soften both knees, sink into your chair squat, tuck your tail. Rise up, one-legged mountain. Remember, you can tap the big toe, and then extend it into warrior 3 with airplane wings, and release. Again, we're not holding it, we're just going to come into it and come right back out of it. Last time on this side. Tap out, warrior 2, reverse, pinwheel the arms, warrior 1, flat back, 3, 2, 1, soft knees, shift it back into the together feet for your chair squat, rise up into one-legged mountain, and now keep your balance, look at something that doesn't move, warrior 3, and release. Prance it out. Woo, that's a long sequence. And we're going to do that same sequence on the other leg. So shift it over. So you'll have room to go into your warrior 2 off to the left. And we'll do the same sequence, 8 layers on this cake. Tall spine, mountain pose, and tap out. return to mountain. Tap out, return to mountain. One more time. Tap out and mountain. Now we're going to add that bigger step to go into our warrior two. Tap out, step the left leg off to the left, bending the knee, throw that right shoulder back, warrior two, soften both knees and zip the legs together, back to mountain. Second time, tap out, warrior two, align, soft knees, mountain. One more time, tap out, step wide, warrior two, soft knees, and shift back to mountain. Adding on a reverse warrior two. This time right hand goes down and left hand goes up. Mountain, tap out, step wide, warrior two, align, and reverse your warrior two. Soft knees, zip the legs together, mountain. Second time, tap out, warrior two, align, and reverse. Soft knees, brings you back. Third time, tap out, step wide, warrior two, reverse, soft knees, back to your number 11. From here, we pinwheel the arms to look towards the left to go into warrior one. Tap out, step wide, warrior two, align it first and then reverse. And now pinwheel both arms, looking off to the left, soft knees, brings you back. Second time, tap out, step wide, warrior two, reverse, lateral flexion, pinwheel the arms, lift it up to warrior one, soft knees, zip it together. One more time, tap out, step wide, reverse, and warrior one, soft knees. Adding on, here's where we add the longer tier. This is 3 times humble warrior. Really engage those abdominal muscles. Think about drawing the navel into your spine to protect the low back. Tap out, step wide, reverse, pinwheel the arms, warrior one, engage the abdominal muscles, and 3 times. Flat back and lift. Second time, and lift. Exhale, inhale, soft knees, shifts back to mountain. Second time, tap out, warrior two, reverse, pinwheel the arms, warrior one, and now flat back. 3, 2, 1, soft knees, step together. One more time. Tap out, step wide, reverse, pinwheel the arms, flat back. 3, 2, 1 more, soft knees, feet together. Adding on, we're going to do soft knees, feet together, but the hips are going to stay low in that chair squat. And remember to tuck your tail between your legs. Think about softening the low back, a little bit of rounding in the low back, keeping that low back protected. Tap out, step wide, reverse, warrior one, 3 times, flat back, humble warrior. 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, shift it together, but keep the hips low. Tuck your tail, and then rise up out of your chair squat. Twice more. Tap out. Warrior two, wide feet. Reverse warrior two. Warrior one. And now flat back, humble warrior. 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, feet together, chair squat, Utkatasana. Rise up and release. One more time. Tap out, Step wide, warrior two. Reverse. Swing those arms to the left, warrior one. Flat back, 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, chair squat, tuck your tail, and rise up, release. Adding on, now the top 2 layers are the tough ones. Remember your options for one-legged mountain. You can have your left big toe touching, or the knee can be lifting. You pick. You'll be coming up out of the chair squat, so your feet are already in the right position. So it's a little bit less challenging than if we were trying to go into a balanced pose from say, a warrior two. So you've got those feet planted. Push through the right foot to balance and lift that left. Try to do the lift if you can. All right, tap out. Warrior two. Reverse. Pinwheel the arms, warrior one. Flat back. 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, chair squats, tuck the tail. Rise up and one-leg mountain. Release. Second time, tap out. Step wide. Reverse. Pinwheel the arms, warrior one. Flat back, 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, chair squat. Tuck your tail and rise to one-leg mountain and release. One more time, and then we add the last layer. Tap out, step wide, reverse, warrior one, flat back, 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, chair squat. Tuck your tail and rise to one-leg mountain and release. Last layer, almost there, my friends. So if you're in a version of one-leg mountain that is tapping the toe and you want to keep that toe, that kickstand, you're going to take the foot behind you, keep the big toe on the earth, and send your airplane wings out. Or you can lift the foot. First time I'm going to show it with the kickstand, both the forward and the back, and then the second 2 times I'll add a balance. Tap out, step wide, warrior two, reverse. Pinwheel the arms, warrior one, flat back, 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, chair squat, tuck your tail. Rise up, one-leg mountain. I'm showing kickstand version. And now take that big toe behind you. Warrior three, airplane wings. Return to mountain. Next 2 times I'm going to show it with the balance. You pick though. Tap out. Step wide, warrior two. Reverse. Pinwheel the arms, warrior one. Flat back, 3, 2, 1. Soft knees, chair squat, tuck your tail. Rise to one-leg mountain. Look at something that doesn't move and shift it into warrior three. Return to mountain. One more time. Last time, last side. Almost there. Tap out. Step wide, warrior two. Reverse. Pinwheel the arms, warrior one. Humble warrior 3 times. 2 more. Last one. Soft knees, shift it together for chair squat. Squeeze that navel. Rise up, one-leg mountain. Look at something that doesn't move and shift it into your airplane. And then release out of the pose. Whew. Good work, my friends. That was a long sequence. We are almost halfway done with our practice, and we just finished our layer cake. We are next going to go into a sequence that includes a forward fold, plank, and down dog. And then we're going to come down to the mat entirely. So this is a good time to bring your device down to the floor if you're going to move your device. If you need to move your screen onto a stack of books, I'm going to do that. We're going to go into our planted down dog from forward fold. So come to the top of your mat, throw your shoulders back. I know my head disappeared for just a second. You're going to see it in just a moment though. Start to tuck your chin, crawl your hands down your legs. Pause here with the letter L. Push your hips away from you. Half forward fold, a little stretch for the backs of the legs. And now bend your knees, bring your hands to the floor, and step back. Coming into your plank pose. Lift up through those shoulders. If you need to come down into a knee plank, you can lower your knees here and bring the toes down to the mat. Maybe you want to add a pad for your knees. You can do that. A hand towel, a garden pad. I'm going to stay in toe plank though. And we're going to tap the shoulders 4 times, tapping opposite hand to opposite shoulder. If you're on your toes and you need more stability, set your feet a little bit wider. 4 times, tapping the shoulder. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift your hips up, downward dog. Bring your feet back together if they were separated. Lift up through the armpits. Press your thigh bones into your legs. Keep your ears close to your arms. Breathe. And we're going to go into a hover position 4 times. Bend both knees, almost touch, not quite, and then lift back, down dog. Do that again. Almost touch, and lift. 3rd time, almost touch, and lift. Last one, almost touch, breathe. Knees down. Relax the tops of your feet. Go ahead and take a little mini child's pose here, just a brief one. And we are going to go into a kneeling salutation. So if you didn't have a knee pad already because you were in toe plank, go ahead and grab one if you need it. Again, if you're on carpeting, maybe you don't. So come into your table pose, quadruped. Spread your hands wide. Neutral spine, so don't drop the belly or arch the back. Imagine you're a table and you're trying to balance a tray of drinks. Coffee mugs on your back body. Look forward of your hands, but not straight down at your hands. You're looking towards the top edge of your mat or table. And we're going to go into a kneeling salutation 3 times. Crawl your hands back, sinking your hips towards your heels, bow your head, child's pose. Take a breath here. And our first pose in our kneeling salutation is strength. Hands on your thighs. And you use your core strength to lift your hips, lift your chest, lift your arms. Inhale. Exhale. Fold it back into table. Let your hands find the mat. And then walk your hands forward to the top of your mat. Bring your ears between your arms and lift through your armpits and hips. Puppy pose. Melt the heart, keeping your ears close to your arms. Puppy pose. Inhale, shift forward into knee plank. Set your hands just beneath your shoulders. And we're going to go into a baby chaturanga here. Because our knees are on the mat, it's just a baby one. Bend your elbows, take 1 breath cycle, and lift back up. Shift back into child's pose. We're going to do that twice more, and we're going to add on each time, adding one pose. The next salutation will add on a down dog. So take 1 more breath cycle in child's pose. Place your hands on your thighs. Use your strength pose. Lift your hips. Use that core strength. Lift your arms. Inhale. Exhale. Fold. Squeeze that navel as your hands find the mat. And then walk forward to the top of your mat. Melt the heart. Puppy pose. Lift through the armpits and hips. Breathe. This is a stretching pose, a resting pose. Inhale, shift it forward for knee plank. Set your hands beneath your shoulders. In chaturanga, make sure your elbows bend backwards and not out to the side. Coming to our second chaturanga, bending the elbows, one breath cycle. Straighten the elbows, curl your toes, and lift your hips. Down dog, here's your add-on. Lift through the armpits, one breath cycle. Knees down, child's pose. Relax the toenails to the mat. One more time, a knee salutation. Place your hands on your thighs. Bow your head. Inhale, start to lift your hips, lift your arms up, stretch as high as you can. Exhale, lower the hands, use that core strength to softly find the mat. And then walk your hands forward. Melt the heart, ears close to the arms, lift through the armpits, lift through the hips. Puppy pose, also called melting heart in yin yoga. Inhale, shift forward, coming into plank. Set your hands beneath your shoulders. Again, make sure your elbows are going to bend backwards as you come into chaturanga. One breath cycle. Straighten the elbows. Curl the toes onto the mat. Lift your hips, downward facing dog. Lift through the armpits. Press your thigh bones into the legs. Our add-on again is going to be three-legged dog. So bear your weight on your left foot, lift your right foot up, stretch it up, and bring it down. Switching, bear the weight on the right, lift up the left, stretch as high as you can. Bring that foot down, knees down, child's pose. Ooh. A little energy in that pose. We're going to switch this into seated poses. So lift your chest. If you've got an e-pad, go ahead and move it off to the side. We're done with that. Extend your legs forward. Coming into staff pose. Move the fleshy part of your bottoms away from your sits bones. Roll out your wrists from those planks and down dogs and chaturanga poses. And in fact, we're going to add a wrist stretch here. Go ahead and open into a V shape, just to make space on your mat. It doesn't have to be a large V, but if you want more of a stretch, you can extend those legs out a little wider. Again, moving the fleshy part of your bottoms away from your sits bones. And now take the backs of your hands down to the mat with the fingertips pointing towards each other. Bend the elbows out to the side and straighten all the way up. Do that twice more. Bend and straighten, stretching the tops of the wrists. One more time. Bend and straighten and release your hands from the mat. We're going to go into a couple of spinal rotations here. We're going to T-twist and saw pose. Extend the arms into a T. Relax the shoulders down. Inhale, lift the ribcage. Exhale, turn to your right. Inhale, center. Turn to your left. And center. Twice more each side. Exhale as you twist. Inhale, center. Exhale. Inhale. One more time to the right and center and to the left. Center. Release the arms for a moment. We're going to add on, going into saw pose. And this time as you twist towards the right, your left pinky is going to try to chop off your right pinky toe. The opposite hand will go behind you in that chopping motion. It's okay if it doesn't actually touch your foot. You can try to imagine that your arm is longer and just visualize that chopping motion of the pinky toe. Arms to a T, shoulders relaxed. Engage the abdominal muscles. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn and chop off your right toe. Center. Exhale, chop off your left pinky toe. Center. Twice more each leg. Saw pose. And saw. Last two. Right pinky. Left pinky. And release. Going into an inner thigh stretch here, bound angle. Bend your knees. Keep your knees wide and draw your feet together in front of you. Bringing the soles of the feet together, taking the hands to the outside edges of the feet, and now lift up through the ribcage and relax the shoulders. Depending on your flexibility, your knees might be closer to the mat than mine are. So listen to your body. If you want to go a little deeper, you can add motion, but keep this very slow and controlled. Slowly lift, slowly lower. You might find as you lower, you might go a little deeper and then be able to come back out of it in the lift. Wherever you are, do one more with motion. And then bring your hands to the outsides of the knees and close. Give them a hug. And then extend the legs forward. We're going to go into a little stretch sequence here. Half Lord of the Fishes, half shoelace, seated four pose or seated pigeon, and then half hero. Half hero is the one that involves a lot of flexion of the knee and it stretches the top thigh muscle, the quadricep. So if it's difficult to do that bend of the knee with your hips on the mat, then have a prop available to you, either a cushion or a block, something to tuck underneath your hips. So I'll have a block available. But again, if you just wanted to use a small pillow, you could do that as well. But let's start with half Lord of the Fishes. Drawing your right foot in, step it across, sit tall. If you just had a meal and you're feeling full in your abdominal cavity, you don't have to step it across. You could leave your foot here and do your twist, and that'll be more comfortable on your abdominal cavity if it's full. But if you didn't just have a meal, go ahead and cross it over. And by the way, it's always good to do your yoga practice a couple hours after you've had a meal, so not right after a full meal. Sit tall, turn and hug that right knee into your body, looking off towards the right. Hug it a little closer, breathe, lift that rib cage and keep the shoulders relaxed. Take 2 more breath cycles here. Hug a little tighter and hug a little tighter. Spiral back to face front, and we're going to go into half shoelace. So here you won't be compressing the abdominal cavity so much, so if your foot was not already crossed over, cross it over, but then bring the outside edge of the foot down. The knee lowers away, and so now you have space here. You're not compressing that abdominal cavity for half shoelace. Internally rotate the shoulders and start to cradle that knee with both arms. Let's work from the base of the spine up for our stretch. It stretches the entire back body here. So first think about lowering your body towards the bent leg. That will stretch the lumbar spine. And now make an exaggerated C shape, spreading open those shoulder blades, stretching the thoracic spine area. And now tuck the chin. Stretching the cervical spine area. Breathe. Modify any of those cues for a deeper stretch on those 3 different areas of the spine. Go a little deeper in any one of them or all 3. Take 1 more breath cycle. And lift up out of the pose. Going into our seated 4 pose. Place that ankle on top of the thigh so the foot is floating. Hands come behind you and recline slightly. Bend the knee, left knee, and set up the stretch for your body. Remember, you can keep this less intense by keeping the foot away, more intense by drawing it closer, and the maximum intensity, picking up the hips and setting them down next to the heel. Make sure your feet are relaxed. Give them a little wiggle here. If you went too far, back it off. Listen to your body. Close your eyes for a moment and let your hips feel heavy on the mat. We did all those warrior poses in our layer cake, working that low body with all that strength. So this is a nice stretch for the hip area after that warrior sequence. 1 more breath cycle. And straighten both legs out. Here's where we're going to go into half hero pose. I'll show it first using the prop. So if you want to use the prop, you're going to just tuck your hips onto your prop. I bent one knee to get there. And now your right leg is going to bend, placing the toenails to the mat and bringing the knees together. Sitting tall. So you won't get as much of a stretch if your hips are elevated on your prop, but that might be better for your knees. So I'm showing it with the prop on the first side. When we do the second side, I'll show it without. You pick. 1 more breath cycle. Use your hand to support you as you swing that right foot back forward. Go ahead and tip off of your prop and set it off to the side. We're going to do that sequence on the other side there, starting with half Lord of the Fishes, left leg. Draw it in, If you have that full tummy, then keep it here, but if not, go ahead and cross it over. Sit tall, turn and hug that knee into your body. Look off towards the left. Shoulders relaxed, ribcage lifted. Breathe. 2 more breath cycles. Hug it more deeply. 1 more breath cycle. Another deepen. And spiral back to face front. If your foot was not crossed over, go ahead and cross it over now and then bring the outside edge of the foot down to the mat. So the knee lowers away and you're not compressing that abdominal cavity. Actually, we will a little bit in our fold, but you're in control of how much you fold. Internally rotate the shoulders, cradle that bent knee with both arms, and now working from the base of the spine up. Let's start the fold, stretching the low back, lumbar. Exaggerate your C shape, mid-back, thoracic, and then tuck your chin, top of the spine, cervical. We'll stay here for a few breath cycles, so go ahead and modify those 3 cues. Remember, you can lower a little bit more, you can exaggerate the C a little more, and you can tuck the chin a little more. 2 more breath cycles. And we lift up out of the pose to come into seated 4 pose. Place the ankle on top of the thigh, hands behind you, recline slightly, and bend the right knee. Set it up for your body. Less intensity, more intensity, maximum intensity. Breathe, wiggle the toes. Hips are heavy on the mat. Feel that deep in the stretch. Close your eyes for a moment and take 2 more breath cycles. Heavy hips. And open your eyes. Slide both feet forward. Going into half hero pose if you want. Go ahead and come onto your prop again, your cushion or your block. Or if you want to join me without the prop, if that's okay for your knee, bend your left knee. Place the toenails on the mat. You're not sitting on the foot. The foot is still off to the side of the hip. And sit tall, shoulders relaxed. Stretching through the top of the thigh, the quadricep. And also the attachment to the knee joint. 1 more breath cycle. Use your right hand to support you and swing that left foot forward. Give it a little shake. We're going to go into a couple poses on our belly, working our back body here. We're going to do swimming and sphinx pose. So go ahead and place your hands to the top of your mat, swing your feet down to the bottom of your mat, and lie on your belly. We're going to start our swimming with just the upper body. So bring your arms forward, look down so you're not looking up and cranking on the back of your neck. So look slightly towards the top of your mat here. Press the pubic bone into the mat. Keep your feet on the mat. Lift your right arm, release. Lift your left arm, release. Go ahead and do just a few of that lifting pose with your arms. See how that feels. Try not to rock your hips too much, keeping those feet and hips stationary. And now pause. We're going to do just the legs. So find some strength. Let your forearms rest on the mat. Palms open wide like stars. Keep that pubic bone pressed into the mat. Lift your right foot and knee and release. Lift the left foot and knee and release. Your thighs stay on the mat at the top of the thigh. You're just lifting the knee. Alternately lifting one knee and then the other, keeping the top of the thigh connected to the mat. Let's do 1 more each leg, and then pause. Now we're going to do 2 slow motion swimming, and then we'll add fast motion swimming if you want. So lifting your right arm and your left leg, release. Lifting your left arm and your right leg, release. 1 more slow motion. And the other side, release. Now you can stay with slow motion, or if you want to float both knees and both arms, if that's accessible for your back, you can go into a little pulsing swimming. And whether you're doing fast motion or slow motion, I'm counting down from 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Place your hands beneath your shoulders. Keep your toenails touching the mat. Keep the pubic bone touching the mat. And lift up and bring your elbows beneath your shoulders. Going into Sphinx pose. Now in Sphinx pose, everything that's touching the mat stays touching the mat. You're not going to lift the thighs, the knees, the elbows. Nothing is coming off the mat. The only thing that happens is we grow through the shoulders. All right, so look down at the top end of your mat. Relaxing the back of the neck so you're not cranking on the back of the neck. Take one breath cycle to prepare in and out. On your next inhale, grow through the shoulders, extending the spine a little bit, and then exhale, relax back down. We'll do that one more time, Sphinx pose. Inhale, grow through the shoulders. Exhale, relax. Bring your hands beneath your shoulders again and push back into child's pose. Crawling the knees forward, setting your hips back against your feet. If this bothers your knees, elevate your hips. But wherever you are, round your back, tuck your chin, child's pose. This is a complementary pose to those two spinal extensions we just did, swimming and Sphinx. We're going to add one more complementary pose, also forward flexion, called rabbit. Now, if rabbit is too much for you, stay in child's pose. I'll demonstrate rabbit and you can decide. In rabbit pose, your hips are going to lift up and your head is touching the mat. So bringing that forehead down to the mat and cupping your heels with your hands. As you start to lift your hips, you're going to start to draw your nose closer to your knees so you actually touch maybe the top of the forehead or even the crown of the head to the mat. So lift your hips, draw your nose closer. If this bothers your knees, come back into regular child's pose. Take one breath cycle, lower down, bring your hands forward, lift your chest, and we are going to lie on our side for a little quadricep stretch. So take your right elbow down to the mat, facing your screen. Stack your bent knees, stack your feet. We're going to go into a quad stretch here. Float the top leg, draw that foot towards you. Heel comes to touch your bottom, and then push the foot into the hand, stretching that quadricep. Again, this is a complementary pose for all those warriors we did earlier. Breathe and release. We're going to add a little strength pose here for the outer thigh and the hip flexor area called clamshell and reverse clamshell. So just let your your left hand be out of the way. It can be on your hip or even just tucked behind your body. Whatever's comfortable. Keep your heels together and open your knees 4 times. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now keep your knees together and we're going to open the heels. That's going to work that little tiny muscle in the hip flexor area called the TFL, tensor fascia lata. Keep your knees together, open the heels. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take this top leg and just flop the knee forward. Breathe. Stretch that leg out. A little deeper stretch on the outer thigh. Stack the knees again, and we're going to push it over to the other side. So swing your feet to the skinny end of your mat here, letting your left elbow come down to the mat, stacking the knees, stacking the feet. Knees are bent. Don't slump onto the shoulder, by the way, so don't cave down onto the shoulder. Lift up through that shoulder. You're still using some strength here to keep that upper body propped up and not slumping down. All right, let's start with the stretch, the quadricep stretch for the top of the thigh. Float that leg, grab the foot, draw that heel. If you can, touch the bottom with your heel, or as close as you can get it, and then push the push the foot into the hand, deepening the stretch. One more breath cycle. And release, stacking your bent knees and feet once again. Keeping that right hand just out of the way, either on the hip or behind the body. We'll go into our clamshell and reverse clamshell. Keep your heels together, open the knees. 4, 3, 2, 1. And now activating that tiny muscle, the tensor fascia lata. Keeping your knees together, we're going to open the heels. 4, 3, 2, 1. Flop that knee forward. A little resting position here. And then straighten that leg. A little stretch for the outer thigh. One more breath cycle. And bend that leg back in onto the mat. We're going to lie on our backs to finish up. So go ahead and shift your body to plant your bottoms on the mat as slowly as you can. Curl down to the mat and then draw your knees into your chest. Add a gentle sway. Breathe. Massage that low back. We worked a lot of strength for the entire body today. Lower body, upper body in those plank poses. That kneeling salutation. Pause the motion. And we'll do a couple stretches here. Let's start with a candlestick stretch for the hamstrings. Place both feet on the mat and then lift your left leg up. Sorry, your left is the one closest to the device. Place your hands behind the hamstring, the back of the thigh, or onto the calf and pull that leg towards you. Keep the knee straight. So if you bend the knee just to bring that thigh closer to your chest, you're going to lose the stretch on the thigh. So keep the leg straight. Roll those shoulder blades into your mat and letting the shoulders fall into the mat. Breathe. You don't need to look at your device anymore. Look up at your foot. One more breath cycle. Keeping the leg in the air, but release the tension. You can slide your hands down, or you can even rest your hands on the mat. We're going to go into ankle mobility here. So you can point and flex. If you want some support, you can keep your hands on the leg if you like. And now switch from the point and flex to an inner and outer rocking motion. Add some circles. Go the other way. And now draw the alphabet with your big toe, off the whole thing. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, J, L, M, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. That seemed like a crazy thing to do, but move your ankle in all different orientations. Go ahead and hug that knee. Place the foot down, roll to the other leg, same thing. Extend it up to the sky, candlestick, hands behind your calf or the thigh. Draw that straight leg towards you. Lower those shoulders into the mat. And now don't look at your device, look up at your foot. Keep that knee straight, draw it a little closer if you can, keep the shoulders relaxed. And now release the pressure on the leg. You can release your hands if you like, or you can just stabilize the leg with your fingertips touching the leg. And we'll start with the point and flex. And we'll add rock and roll towards the screen and away. Some circles. Yeah, that's my ankle making those noises. And the other way. And now the entire alphabet. What's your own pace? I'm not going to call it out this time. I'm doing it in my head. So when I finish, I'll give you a second in case your alphabet is a little slower than mine. I'm up to M. How about you? Keep going. Calling out those letters in your head. Or you can go out loud if you like. I'm at Z. Go ahead and finish your alphabet, and when you finish, hug that knee into your chest. Hug both knees into your chest. Add a little rock here. We're going to add a hip stretch here, supine cow face. So keeping your feet floating, cross your right thigh over your left. And now place both hands on the left shin. So you're going to have to crawl your left hand underneath and put both hands on the left shin, and then relax your shoulders down. Hug a little more deeply towards your body. You're stretching that right hip. If you want, you can change the hand position. I'll show a couple options here. Instead of having both hands on the left shin, you could have one hand on each shin, or crawl to the ankle bone, or even all the way to the tops of the feet. That's the deepest version of the stretch. Look up at the ceiling, take 2 more breath cycles. Release the toes, uncross your thighs and cross them the other way, left on top of right. Reach and place both hands on that right shin. Hug those thighs a little closer to your body. Look up at the ceiling. You don't need to look at your screen here. Relax the shoulders. If you want to change the hand position to place one hand on each shin, you can, or crawl to the ankle bones or the tops of the feet. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Breathe. Deep stretch here. Gluteus medius piriformis. One more breath cycle. Release, uncross the thighs, plant your feet. We're going to finish with happy baby. So float both feet off the mat again. Separate your knees and feet wide. Flex the feet and let the soles of the feet look up at the ceiling. Hands to your shins, ankles, or if you want, grab the big toes or wrap the hands to the soles of the feet. Tuck your knees towards your armpits. If you want, add a little sway. Keep those knees and feet wide. One more breath cycle. Roll your arms one at a time. Bring your feet to the earth. And we're going to go into relaxation. So you can stay here with your knees bent, or you can lengthen your legs for corpse pose, Shavasana. If you have a prop that you like to use for relaxation, maybe you want to put a little cushion under your head, that's fine. Go ahead and do whatever's comfortable to you. I'm going to sit up just to project my voice while you relax, just for a few more breath cycles. Survey your body. We did a lot of strength today with that 8-layer cake, our kneeling salutations, our down dogs and planks. Lots of strength. And then some nice stretches when we were seated in our half load of the fishes and shoelace, figure 4 and hero. Take just a few more breath cycles here, letting everything on your face be soft. Relax your brow, your cheeks, your tongue, everything relaxed. One more breath cycle. And we're going to transition back to a seated pose. You can do one sit-up to get there, or roll to your side and push yourselves up to a seated pose as we begin. Well, not really as we began the second half of our practice. My quote today is from an author named Barbara Brown Taylor, and she wrote, "The only real difference between anxiety and excitement was my willingness to let go of fear." So think about the difference between those two emotions. Anxiety could be about something that's going to happen that might be exciting, except maybe you're fearful. So take away the fear, my friends, and turn anxiety into excitement. Bring your hands outside your hips, inhale to the sky, let your thumbs touch your mind, your spirit breath in your body. the Spirit in me honors the Spirit in all of you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, keep breathing.